And welcome back, Bros, to Bioshock! In the last episode, we arrived in Arcadia, where we were introduced to the mechanic of crafting, as well as rescuing our third little sister in a row, receiving another of Tannenbaum's rewards. In this episode, we'll be delving further into Arcadia in hopes of finding the bathysphere and rolling hills that'll take us straight to Ryan. So starting off here, we can finally buy slots for our individual tracks. Hallelujah! God, man. Hey, with all the tonics we've been collecting up to this point, it's nice to finally just put in more upgrades for ourselves, you know? I mean, having more plasmids is nice and all, but I like upgrades too, you know? But I do recommend that if you're going to be buying slots, I recommend that you go for more. I recommend you go for more slots in your physical tonic track, only because you are more likely to come across those than you are engineering or combat tonics.
Rolling Hills is over yonder, and the bathysphere station is as well. And then straight on to Ryan.
Hell yeah, Atlas, we're gonna be killing a son of a bitch tonight. Woo! Sorry, I'm just excited about that. But yeah, nah. You saw right there, though, by researching the Thuggish Splicer, we got the upgraded version to Sports Boost, so now we can swing our wrench even faster, and if we had both equipped, it'd be lightning speed. You know, the enemy wouldn't even see it coming. So, if you want to equip both, that's up to you, but to me personally, I just go with the upgraded version. You know, just save myself another slot. Or save that slot for something else, you know? What a picture, you know, you get electrocuted in mid-shot. But, we get to see that beautiful Photographer's Eye bonus apply itself here. I love you so much. I mean, not as much as the wrench upgrades that we get. After all, our wrench is mighty enough to carry us through this whole game. Which is funny too, because I've never actually done a wrench-only run of Bioshock. I've thought about it, even especially recently. I've thought about doing a no-gun run of Bioshock. Now that wouldn't mean I don't use my plasmids, obviously, because you kind of need to use them in order to progress. But I mean, as far as I wouldn't be allowed to use the pistol, the shotgun, or the grenade launcher. You know, certainly make fights with Big Daddies a lot tougher. I'll tell you that much. Bouncers maybe I could handle, because the more you research bouncers, the bonuses you get are increased to your wrench damage. So if you're using the wrench against them, you know, that's optimal. Now, keep in mind that it doesn't stack with the wrench upgrades you have. So, for example, if I have 2 wrench jockeys equipped, it's not gonna act like, you know, it's not gonna act like my wrench is a one-hit kill. But in other news, after taking enough pictures of the Houdini splicers and reaching a certain threshold in our research, we get one of the best physical tonics in the game. Natural camouflage, or better yet, chameleon skin. By standing still, we go invisible. And that right there is one of the best perks. When you go invisible, you are undetected by splicers, and by security bots if you so happen to trigger the alarm. As you'll see right here with this Thuggish Splicer, she doesn't see me. And after we're done taking her picture a few times, without her consent, then we load an anti-personal round in. Boom! Without even noticing we were there. Oh my goodness. And this is why I said taking pictures of Houdini splicers should be one of your immediate priorities, so you can gain access to this physical tonic. Now, it doesn't work when you're in combat. You know, say if you're fighting a Big Daddy and you're, you know, in combat with him, you won't go invisible at that moment. But when, you trip an alarm by accident, or you were being reckless, what have you, it comes in handy. Especially when, you need to prep for a fight with a big daddy, and, a splicer sees you, and suddenly now you have to waste time dealing with them and everything. And quick side note, these are what the symbols look like. I guess these are what the Houdini splicers are scrolling on the walls. All for their Saturnine. Weird. But back to natural camouflage. Yeah, really, really good physical tonic, and you should slap that on immediately. Don't worry about replacing one of your other physical tonics. You will be able to get another slot in the next level. But yeah, natural camouflage, really, really good really, really good tonic, not plasmid. Really, really good tonic, and you should equip it immediately.
On the surface, I once bought a forest. The parasites claimed that the land belonged to God and demanded that I establish a public park. Why? So the rabble could stand slack-jawed under the canopy and pretend that it was paradise earned. When Congress moved to nationalize my forest, I burnt it to the ground. God did not plant the seeds of this Arcadia. I did.
Pretty sure it wasn't just you, Andrew, but, all the other scientists that helped make this forest. Just saying. I mean, I know what you mean, but I'm just being a smartass. But what you saw right there, we got a nifty research bonus on security turrets. Anytime we hack them, it is an automatic hack and that instantly succeeds. So awesome! We don't have to play the minigame anymore when it comes to security turrets. If you research the security bots enough times, bleh, you'll be able to do the same with them. But not to security cameras, unfortunately. It just reduces the flow speed. Which is nice, but it'd also be nicer if, you could just instantly succeed on a hack for a security camera, but it's whatever. Right now we got another Big Daddy in our midst that we have to prep for. While we prep for another round with big ol' Mr. B himself, I wanted to take this opportunity to discuss why Arcadia is one of my favorite levels in this game. I mentioned last episode the 3 plaques we saw at the beginning of the game. Science, industry, and art. And how the levels we've traversed through thus far correlate to those plaques in some form or fashion. We've seen science and art at the medical pavilion where Steinman compares himself to Picasso in an audio diary, as well as discussing how the human flesh is like clay and that you can mold it into whatever you want thanks to the introduction of Adam. And likewise in Fontaine Fisheries, we see industry at its best with Fontaine Fisheries. How Fontaine was able to make a name for himself amongst the working class of Rapture, and how his business led to him creating a smuggling ring to bring in goods from the surface world. But we've never seen the effects of science solely incorporated into a location before. Up until this point, it's always been paired with another of Rapture's core ideas. So when you finally enter Arcadia and you see all this foliage, how the city pushes the boundary of science to make living at the bottom of the ocean possible, there's still more to this level narratively, but I want to save that for later. Aside from the narrative aspect, there's also how Arcadia works well with the gameplay. The first couple of levels preyed upon your curiosity and sense of exploration. Arcadia, as well as another level that we'll be going through afterwards, Fort Frolic, are 2 levels that I feel take that idea to its logical extreme. With secret rooms and goodies around every corner, it seems. Now, I don't want to say the game opens up once you get to this specific point, as the game is a non-linear first-person shooter, but this level definitely feels a lot more open-ended than the previous areas, and later on you'll see what I mean. It always felt to me that this was the level that the developers wanted you to just get lost in. you know, just explore to your heart's content. You know, I definitely think this is a level that if you felt like turning the compass off, this is where I think you should.
It isn't right. I'm gonna need you to listen to me. I'm no sort of botanist, but I think Ryan has just killed Arcadia. The man's put something foul into the air. Bottom of the ocean, Bio. All the oxygen comes from the trees. No trees, no oxygen. Give me a spell to think. Ryan's woman in Arcadia is an old Betty named Langford. An okay sort, but not above doing a dirty job for $1. Is she still kicking around?
Well, we better find this Julie Langford and fast, otherwise we'll suffocate to death. But real quick, before you head into Julie's office, you want to hack this Ammo Bandito vending machine as well as the security camera, as you will be frequenting this spot quite a bit. You know, so it pays to have that extra layer of security or defense. You know, as you're passing through. Well, without further ado, let's head into Julie's office.
The trees. It wasn't you, was it? No. Ryan. I think I've got a way to save the trees. It's a genetic vector that... Oh, look who I'm talking to. Could you find a sample of Rosa Gallica for me? Look in the grotto. I've got to keep working while there's time.
Well, geez, Julie, you don't have to be so bossy about it. We'll save your trees. I mean, we have to save your trees, otherwise everybody in Arcadia dies by suffocation. No breathing. Don't give a fuck if I go down swinging. Not sure that's how that last lyric goes, but yeah, fuck it, I'll roll with it. That's also another thing about getting the rose specimen. I never knew how it was pronounced. Does Julie pronounce it as Rosa Gallica, like with a C, or does she pronounce it as Rosa Gallica, like the arcade game Galaga? You know, I mean, the game doesn't give you any indication how it's spelled. It just calls it the rose specimen. So no luck there, unfortunately. But back to what I was saying about the compass. Unfortunately, I don't turn it off throughout this entire playthrough, but for those of you that are trying this game out for your first time or have played this game front to back so many times, try playing it without the compass and see how it alters the experience. You know, I mean, next time I pick this game up, or next time I do another playthrough of this game, I'm probably going to give that a shot, see how the game changes without the compass at the top, you know? Because like I've said before, I've always played this game with the compass on, not to, like, you know, not to, you know, lessen my curiosity, but to always know which way I need to go, you know, without getting too lost. You know, because sometimes when you're playing a non-linear game, it pays to know which way you're going, so you're not just wasting your time, or the game is spinning its wheels as you try to figure out which way is the right way, you know, or which way advances plot. You know, I mean, that's an issue some Metroidvanias can sometimes, or yeah, that's an issue that Metroidvanias can suffer from if they're not designed well and you don't have good indicators for, you know, for areas that you've already been to. A couple weeks ago, I was playing Doom Eternal, and one thing that always sticks out to me is the marker, or the green markers that they put around, indicating, you know, what platform you can grab or which way are you supposed to go. You know, I know that that game has a map feature as well as like a waypoint marker, but sometimes I don't really rely on those all that much unless I'm, you know, looking around for secrets. You know, if they were to omit those features entirely and just rely solely on the markers themselves, then I think they could reasonably get away with that. Maybe, you know, in a higher difficulty, or, you know, yeah, maybe in a higher difficulty that alters that or something. I'm not sure. But what I am sure about is that those splicers definitely need to die, as they were assaulting a tonic. New physical tonic that we acquired, security invasion, pretty much. it takes longer for the security cameras to notice you. So if you're having trouble sneaking by them, you'll have a much easier time sneaking around them now. But for this U-invent machine, I spent an automatic hack tool to hack it because the difficulty was too high. And then, I just spent all my materials to get that automatic hack tool back. I actually did that a couple times too, with a vending machine, or I think it was with a couple U-invent machines in this level. It's like I spent an automatic hack tool just to gain it back. it's kind of like that thing you see in cartoons where somebody puts a string around a nickel and they put it in the vending machine and they take the nickel out, or hell, a quarter. So Jesus Christ, when does a soda or a snack in a vending machine cost a quarter? It's more like $1.50 or something. Well, right there you saw me fail miserably at trying to trip this trap bolt. And I ended up blowing up the security turret that was right there by accident. Probably shouldn't have done that, considering that once we collect the rose specimen, this enemy is going to be swarming with splicers pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you hack the security camera as well as the turret just to have an easier time. That's if you want, Again, you could be the one playing this and decide, you know what, fuck you, Negro Central, I want to play this game my way. And to that I say, you do you, bud. You do you. I'm sorry, you do you, bro. You do you. But right here we see a broken Circus of Values machine. Who could do such a thing? Probably a person that didn't have Raptor dollars on them, because after all, the machine does mock you if you don't have any money, telling you to take a hike until you bring back some Rapture dollars. Oh, I find that kind of charming. Certainly more charming than the dead cat on the floor. Jesus Christ, what the hell, citizens of Rapture? Seriously. If I didn't think you were maniacs before, I definitely think you're a maniac. I definitely think you're maniacs now. I looked at you people as tragic figures that had your life taken away by greed and by one man's vision. I felt sorry for you. Now that you're killing cats, I feel no sympathy for you. That's why I'm gonna have these unmanned machines kill you. Speaking of an unmanned machine, we now encounter the flamethrower security turret. We haven't seen these in a while. And yes, because they are security turrets, it doesn't matter what variety they are, they still count. So, again, keep that in mind whenever you're researching security turrets. Again, be sure that you use Electrobolt to stun them, so you're not taking unnecessary pot damage or pot shots while you're doing your research on them. Do as I say, not as I do, because you don't want to be taking a lot of damage if you're struggling with resources. Alright, here, the footage glitches out. That is my capture card. I don't know what was going on there.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, but it completely screwed up the audio
If the
diary.
Rosy Gallica bloom, then by God, I know we're in business.
Hurry, the lockdown!
All right, I'm leaving. But somebody has to find a way to come back to check on these samples. They're very important.
Pretty much the gist of that audio diary was Langford just studying the details of how the specimen has grown and changed before being kicked out of Arcadia, or being kicked out of this specific place. Yes. No, I think she was kicked out of Arcadia. That's what well, because the splicers have triggered the alarm, now's a good time to take some pictures of the security bots. Sure, that's a security bot. Take your word for it. I guess that's why I gotta see it. Cool, I'll take your word for it. But as you saw right there, that splicer, it took two electrobolts with water to take down that splicer. Like I said early on in the Let's Play, splicers will beef themselves up, so be on the lookout for that. And for some reason I'm staring at the dead cat because I just realized, oh my god, there's a dead cat. Moving on. Because I already poured my heart out about how I feel about that. So let's get back to Langford's office before I see a dead puppy next. Oh, now I just got sad. I don't want to see a dead puppy. I love puppies. I love kittens too. I have a cat myself. I know he's a pain in the ass, but I love him so much. Right now I think he's going through the zanies while I'm recording this. So if you hear anything knocking on my door by any chance, that's him. You know, he hates being knocked out. But I gotta close my door because I'm recording. I'm sorry, Jubei. It's just the way things are. Yes, I named my cat Jubei.
You've brought the Rosa Gallica? Well, what are you waiting for? An engraved invitation? Send it through the pneumo.
It'd be nice if he gave me an invitation.
Yes, this is perfect. Perfect. Come on up to my office. I'm letting you in now. I think I've got just the thing to put the green back in this forest.
Well, now we are in Langford's office, and we get a new engineering tonic. Hacking expert. Pretty much one fewer overload tile to worry about. As well as I think an
I've
alarm
got the
tile.
security system in this joint hacked, so those turrets won't bite. Come on up
But
to my
luckily,
office.
Langford has the security in this place hacked. But while we're on our way to our office, let's
Who
listen
says
to
you can't
her
teach an
audio.
old hound new tricks? This batty plant woman spends 4 years coming up with ways to defoliate trees in the Pacific to scare out the Japs. And now here I am, down at the bottom of the Atlantic, trying to figure out how to do the same thing in reverse. Adam. It's bathtub gene times the atom bomb times Eve with a serpent. Let's go see what it can do.
Interesting. Well, before we get over to Langford's office, we might as well hack these machines over here. Difficulty on them is high, so be mindful of that, but you do want to hack these machines. The vending machine and the U-Invent machine. You can't hack the security turrets, because, again, Langford beat us to the punch. But, after much trial and tribulation, we finally made it to her.
Julie, we made a business deal, you and I, did we not? Money changed hands. Let me read to you from the agreement. Section 3, subsection 4.
Mr. Ryan?
Ryan Industries maintains exclusive rights to the creation, use, and exploitation of the Lazarus vector. Ownership is civilization.
Wait! No! Please!
Without it, we're back in the swamp.
Mr. Ryan!
Every time we get a yard ahead, Ryan goes and moves the goal line down to the other side of the field.
I've been killing trees for 25 years. At Berkeley back in the 20s, on the Japs at Iwo Jima. But I never brought one back from the grave before. I did, Becky. Mama's gonna build her first damn Frankentree. I'm gonna call my little creation the Lazarus Vector. Maybe it'll bring the old gal's career back from the dead as well.
Are you sure about that? Because, not gonna lie, Julie, your audience isn't exactly sane. But that code, or those numbers, meant something. It was all meant to open up this wall safe. So we enter in the numbers, and we gain access to a new audio diary, as well as...
What's the point of being a damn genius if the only ones around to appreciate it are a bunch of spliced-up morons? I've cracked the vector, or at least I'm 99% certain I have. I just need a bud of Rosa Gallica to confirm my analysis. Distilled water, a bit of chlorophyll, and enzymes extracted from Apis mellifera. That's right, sweetheart. Honeybee spit.
With a new set of objectives and the trees in Arcadia dying, as well as this video being too long for its own good, I'd say that's plenty for today. Next time on Bioshock, we'll gather the materials necessary to save the trees in Arcadia. See you guys then.
They dress up in leaves and call themselves the Saturnine. Please. They drink human blood and chant, "Harness the flame, harness the mist," and believe they're touched by the ancient god. An aging bunch of frat boys tilting back goblets of plasmids and calling it ambrosia.
Gregory, don't come whining to me about market forces, and don't expect me to punish citizens for showing a little initiative. If you don't like what Fontaine is doing, well, I suggest you find a way to offer a better product. There has been tremendous pressure to regulate this plasmid business. There have been side effects, blindness, insanity, death. But what use is our ideology if it is not tested? The market does not respond like an infant, shrieking at the first sign of displeasure. The market is patient, and we must be too.
The minute we came here, Masha started screaming, "Mama, Mama, what is that? What is that?" I thought she was having some kind of seizure. And then I realized, trees. Never saw one before. Thought they were monsters. Oh, Sammy, maybe we never should have come to this place. I couldn't believe how much things had changed since I left Dr. Steinman's office. It's like I don't even recognize Rapture no more. I hear they've been rounding up people in Paula Square. I asked Ryan how could he do such things to innocents. He said, innocents, if they haven't chosen to defend Rapture, they've chosen to side with Atlas and his bandits. So there are no innocents. There are heroes, and there are criminals.